Okay, I figured it out. NXT is like homework. AEW is like detention. You don't look forward to either one of them, but one's more burdensome than the other. NXT on October 14th, although they at least didn't start out with a 20-minute women's match this week. Usually they just forego the ratings war for the on the opening segment. I will mention that Vic Joseph looks like the groom on a wedding cake. Did you notice that? He's just so perfect? There wasn't a hair out of place. He looked like a Ken doll. But the opening tag match was Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. Where have we heard those names before? With Kyle O'Reilly in the corner against Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, the guys who crippled Ridge Holland last week. And I've got to mention, I even watched the Undisputed Era's entrance. I like the music. I like the different way that they do the boom thing, each one of them, whoever's featured. O'Reilly got the microphone and cut a promo. He has come so far. I was so proud of this guy because he was not a natural interview. And he doesn't have a Damian Priest voice, bass and intimidating. But here, he doesn't talk like somebody wrote this for him. It sounds like him. And he sounds like that he means what he says, and it's natural. And he's got that voice, but one of the Diaz brothers in the UFC, whatever. He's not exactly physically or verbally intimidating in that way, but he works like he can back it up. So I liked Kyle's promo. And then here comes Burch and Lorcan. And I've said that I didn't really see a lot in these guys. And I realized it's the people they've been in the ring with and the way they've been used. This is the perfect use for me of Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, besides the fact that please help Oney with his fucking name. They're good workers. They're good athletes. They don't particularly have a lot of color or flash. But if you put them in with stars that are also good workers, you have good matches, and it makes Burch and Lorcan look better. Instead of putting them in with that, just other guys that either aren't as good of workers or even more bland than they are. Could you see that? I didn't mind these guys having a good quality tag team match against guys that I obviously know are main event guys. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I actually expected that I was going to be alone on an island here. I thought Lorcan and Burch looked pretty good in that. I really thought Burch looked great in there. I really liked him working with these guys, but
see, these
guys are great workers.
They're just two bald-headed white guys that they're not even trying to fucking have any oomph. Their gimmick is that they don't have the oomph. I don't know. But this is the difference to me also between NXT and AEW. AEW may not have 4 guys on their entire roster that can work like Strong, Fish, Burch, and Lorcan as professionally, as good quality. Now, that doesn't mean that Danny Burch is a bigger star than Moxley. It doesn't, because there's other factors. But NXT almost never looks like an amateur hour, except for the skits they do and some of the women's matches. So that's just a big difference. Anyway, this went through a break. I was just thinking, God damn it, FTR versus Fish and Strong would be so good. And Fish and O'Reilly were the team until just recently, but these guys are so good and they spent so much time together. They're interchangeable and they don't lose anything. They did twists and turns and back and forths in the finish, but it all made sense. Nothing was stupid. Burch and Lorcan hit that assisted spike DDT that looked stiff as fuck. When Roddy landed, he sold like he wasn't selling. And then Fish took Burch out, and Roddy hit a fucking knee lift on Oney Lorcan. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Best NXT opener I've seen in the last several weeks, as I recall, because usually their opening segment is a little bleh.
I thought it was good. I missed the first 5 minutes because for both shows, I forgot to set my DVR until 5 minutes into the shows. So I missed the first 5 minutes, but really good opener. Gave me some hope for this episode, which died pretty quickly.
Well, yeah. Well, and also they had they had some entrances and etc. that took up some time at the beginning, so you didn't see a lot of match. Unlike on AEW, we'll get there in a minute, where they just jump into things. But did you see the update on Finn Balor's jaw surgery?
Yeah, I saw a little too much, actually.
Yeah.
Of that. Jeez.
Fuck that picture. Fuck that surgery picture. I thought, okay, broken jaw. Jimmy Hart had a broken jaw, and he didn't talk and sucked through a straw for a while, but I never saw a picture like that. That holy shit. So that NXT title is cursed, as you said. I thought, well, since he and we found out, as good as Balor and O'Reilly was, they were going to go a couple more minutes, and Finn obviously took it home early once he got he got his fucking head knocked off by that knee lift. But imagine how good it would have been. Anyway, that was gruesome, but that's good for the business, as they used to say. First time I got stitches in my face, all the boys were, it's good for the business. Anyway, the next match was Ashante the Adonis versus Jake Atlas. And Adonis works in blue jeans and sneakers, and immediately they started cartwheeling and flipping around, and I kind of zoned out on this match because they were just zoning. They were just cartwheeling and flipping, but Atlas got a small package and got the win. It wasn't long. And then the Lucha Suits, I'm going to call Escobar's Stooges because I can never remember their names, the Lucha Suits. The Lucha Suits attacked Adonis, the guy that Atlas had just beaten, and then Atlas saved him. But then Escobar came out. But here came Swerve in the ring with the chairs, and they didn't. Did you see anything I missed there?
No, I wasn't really crazy about this match, and I don't know. Anything with the Lucha Suits, as you're putting it, and Swerve, it's just a feud I don't care about. I haven't been big on the Lucha Suits and Escobar. I don't care. I don't care about Pablo. This. I don't care about
this. If they had
feud.
Uncle Pablo with the heavy drugs, the whole thing might be more entertaining. Mr. and Mrs. Sameface did a backstage promo where they totally were not serial about what they were talking about. It's just so contrived, and they're just pretending to be annoying heels. And you can tell when all these guys and girls are pretending to be what they're supposed to be. Do they come off any more sincere to you than they do to me?
Oh, no, I'm not a fan of either one of them as promos. I think Gargano's had good matches, although in general, I find him boring, so I think a lot of it's about the person he's wrestling with. For me, I know a lot of people really like him. But no, these promos are terrible. I guess I like this better than them strolling down the street with an invisible cameraman that they don't notice. But again, I asked the question I asked last time. Is there a gimmick that they're the most annoying neighbors you've ever had? Like, what is this gimmick?
It is indeed the annoying neighbors or friends or people across the road or whatever. But this prefaced, boy, I'm telling you what, I may have a new favorite fucking wrestler. The next match was Johnny Sameface against Austin Theory. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is not a booker or a promoter in any of the territories at any point in time in history that if you put Austin Theory in the ring in front of them and said, can you push this guy and put him on top, they would have said no. Everybody would have used this guy. He's timeless. The thing about Sameface, he is a great technical wrestler. He just looks like he's in grade school and he's got absolutely no personality whatsoever. But Austin Theory passed the star test. He was stealing the show when Johnny Sameface was beating the shit out of him because he was selling for him. He sells, and he sells animatedly, and he sells like a heel. You could make this guy babyface because he's good looking, but he seems like he's naturally got it as a fucking heel. He's got stars shining off his forehead, the work, the physique, the facials, the body language, all the gaga. The guy looks like he's been working for 10 years. And he gets it. He's a left-handed southpaw even. But he's a freak. And remember, we've heard him cut the promo. He can talk. So I will watch everything this guy does from now on. And this was a hell of a performance. Whether he was selling for Gargano, then when he took over and got heat, It was a heel versus heel match, which, they do so much in all these companies now. So it would have they probably were trying to get a fucking good match for Austin Theory, and they figured Gargano's a good technician. I would have put Theory over. I said, hey, get something out of this fucking guy, out of Gargano, by having him elevate this guy, because Gargano was a former champion. But of course, just as I was writing those things, same face hit a DDT, which Theory took an incredible bump on, and Gargano pinned him. It was a rotten result, but amazing performance by Austin Theory. If this guy doesn't get hurt, and if they don't sabotage him somehow with just rotten booking, there's no way this guy's not going to be a star for the next 20 fucking years. He's 22 years old. I would have built OVW around this guy because he was the same age as all the other guys I had. And I could have put him in the ring with guys like fucking Orton and Dinsmore and Basham. And, they would have, tell you, no downside that I can see to this fucking guy. And he gets it mentally.
Yet they have him doing a losing streak gimmick, which drives me nuts.
Well, because they're idiots, but, because the comedy writers don't understand, and the people who do understand don't want to tell them they don't understand. But anyway, yes, amazing. He can't talk like MJF. MJF can't work like this. And I'm not knocking either one of them when I say that. Theory is such an upper level worker for his age. And MJF is off the charts as far as verbally.
And he looks like a wrestler. I mean, that was the thing that really stuck out to me during the match. Watching him against Gargano. And I know a lot of people really like Gargano. And obviously he's talented in the ring. But he's a little guy. And I'm not trying to say that as an insult to people who are small. But when you see him in there with Austin Theory, it's like seeing Hacksaw Duggan in there with Mike Jackson. You know what I mean? Like one guy looks like a wrestler and another guy has to tell you, oh, I am a wrestler. And you'd have to go, oh, really? You? Really? But Austin Theory looks like a professional wrestler. And Mike Jackson was great in the ring. I'm not putting down Mike Jackson for his work, but I'm saying some people you see and you go, that guy's a wrestler. I get it. Austin Theory is in that category.
And the other people are there to be wrestlers and put the people over who look like wrestlers. Anyway, my new favorite guy, I'm going to watch everything he does. We'll see how long it takes him to fucking sabotage him. Or some video will surface of him with a fucking match with the Invisible Man. Anyway, the next match, the other half of the Same Face family, Mrs. Same Face, wrestled Shotzi Blackheart. You know what rule I invoked?
The Shotzi rule.
The Shotzi rule, you are correct. They had a brief backstage interview where Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, Drake still wants to team with him, Killian still doesn't. And it's so obvious that they're doing this on purpose that it just makes me mad. They're not even trying to be natural and do anything that anybody would half-ass kind of buy. You comment if you want to, or you might have taken a piss at that segment.
No, I'm not a fan of Drake Maverick. I've said it before, and I forget if their match was right after this, but I didn't care about the match.
It wasn't. It's cut. But first, there's a break. There's not a break. First, there's another match in between this and their match. The other match was Toni Storm versus Aaliyah with Robert Stone. Can you guess what I did here?
Oh, come on. You can't skip every woman's match.
Then you can't guess what I did here because I didn't skip it because Toni Storm is in it.
Okay, good.
And the fake ovation for her entrance was distracting. The thousands of people that aren't there cheering. But wow. She looks great. She's got a great gimmick where what she's wearing and how she dresses fits what she looks like her personality is. She looks like a star. She's got legs, not twigs. She's a beautiful blonde girl, but she's not the beautiful fake-faced, surgically enhanced type of blonde girl that works like they're afraid of breaking a fucking nail. She's not Mildred Burke, but she's good enough because she looks like that. She's beautiful, but she doesn't seem plastic. She's got some personality and some attitude. And she can do in the ring enough to get by. That's just from seeing her in this match. She may even be better than that. I've seen her one time quite a while back, and I thought she looked like a star, and same thing here. You can use this girl and you can draw money with her because she's not, as I said, she's not Mildred Burke. She's not the greatest female athlete on the planet. She doesn't work like Charlotte, but she's fucking gorgeous and she's got personality. So I'll be excited to see what they do with her. Your thoughts?
I thought she looked really good. I get a kick out of Aaliyah. I know every time we see her, she's getting her ass kicked. And I guess whatever that says about the Robert Stone brand, although Wade Barrett said that Robert Stone got him an extra 0 on his contract, so I guess the gimmick is that he's representing Wade Barrett too. I don't know if that was a throwaway line or why he would say that, but I get a kick out of Aaliyah. I think she's all right too. It's amazing how many top-notch women's wrestlers are coming out of Australia right now. Because, right, isn't Rhea Ripley from Australia?
Right. That's true. Yeah, there you go.
Toni Storm. Is Dakota Kai from Australia?
That's your department.
I'm going to look that up right now. But Toni Storm, they said she was from Australia too, right?
I believe she's from somewhere over there. Maybe New Zealand. Maybe
Dakota Kai's New Zealand, but I'm going to lump New Zealand and Australia in like we're going on an overseas tour for Steve Ricard.
Steve Ricard. And well, we'll switch the belt while we're over there and nobody will know about it. There's a lot of things happens over in New Zealand and places like that nobody knows about in the States. You're muted right now because elsewise you'd be fucking laughing. Anyway, the next match was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick against Imperium without Walter. And I can't watch the reluctant team thing because it's been so silly and the way that they've done it. But they, of course, no surprise, beat Drake Maverick. Then here comes Everrise and attacks Drake Maverick, and Killian Dane saves him. Who could have foreseen this? And said, nobody hits you but me. So it's, hey, little buddy, it's the Skipper and Gilligan. The fake crowd loved it. Your thoughts?
Drake Maverick rule. I don't like him. Don't give a shit.
Okay.
Didn't watch.
The main event, Damian Priest versus Dexter Lumis, who I have new respect for because Dexter Lumis' hometown is Recluse, Wyoming. So at least that's the best thing since Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. And I know Dexter has a good sense of humor because he puts our thumbnails that Travis does for us up when we talk about him as his profile picture on Twitter. But I believed Brian Pillman was crazy and had mental issues and was a loose cannon or potentially a psychopath, possibly on drugs, whatever. It's the attitude, not the spooky staring. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like Sam Shaw's work and his athleticism, and he's a big guy and his dedication. I don't like this gimmick. It's too slow and mono-face and just, it doesn't allow him to cut loose and be psycho. But they started with a lockup like men and struggled with it. They're both athletic guys, but they still worked like big guys, but they threw their shit in. I wish Dexter Lumis had more emotion and more facials and a multi-pace offense. But you were right last week with what you said. If anybody on NXT you can see on Raw or in a big main event match at WrestleMania, it's Damian Priest.
Yeah.
I did try to figure out why is it that the heels crouch down and when a babyface is getting up with his back turned and wait for them to get up and turn around and even encourage them to get up and turn around. You're a heel. Hit the guy from behind. So that's those little buzz killers that takes me out of shit. Maybe a babyface might be waiting to fucking hit a move when the heel turns around, but the heel ain't going to wait for a guy to turn around. And people will say, oh, well, that's so he can catch him in his move. Well, you dumb shit, hit him with a different move if his back is turned. You don't need to fucking hit him with your best move if the motherfucker doesn't even know you're there. the guys used to be able to work up where they could stagger up into something where the other guy was coming up or turning around or whatever, not this incessant wait on it until he puts himself in the right position for me to strike. Too fucking stagey. I did like the nip up into the leg drop that Loomis did. That was different. And I like Damian Priest so much. We've put him over week after week after week because he's a grown man with bass in his voice and he looks natural. But this match did not tear the house down. And finally, Loomis gets Damian Priest in his fucking choke. And it was 2 hours into the show and my DVR froze. Who won? They went long. I didn't know they were going long these days. They haven't gone long in fucking a long time.
Yeah, I set my DVR too after I missed that first 5 minutes to record the rest of the show so I could watch it this morning as we are recording. Yes. And my DVR stopped too because it was not prepared for an overrun of NXT, which was unexpected, so I didn't see the end of the match either.
So who won?
All right, hold on. Let me look this up.
You've got to look at it.
I was hoping you knew. I was hoping you saw it. I was hoping you saw it. I was hoping you would know the result.
I didn't fucking see it. I couldn't imagine what the fuck had happened.
Okay, here's a...
I had to deal with Corky again today. Come back, do more tree work. I didn't have time to do research.
Okay, here's the results from Bleacher Report. Loomis found sudden momentum with a bulldog and spine buster. He refused to stay down to any of the Archer of Infamy's devastating offense, even an ankle lock. The height of Priest saved him from the Kata Gatame.
What?
Kata Gatame into the silence. Is that the name of the move? The Kata Gatame?
I don't have any idea.
Is Into the Silence its own move, or is that
maybe
that's
no? Tojo Yamamoto's real name was Tanabe. That's right.
Well, let me continue with this. Cameron Grimes snuck in to sneak attack Loomis. Cameron Grimes snuck in to sneak attack Loomis, setting up the South of Haven by Priest for the win. Boy, can you guys start naming your moves after what the move actually is? Everyone has a cute name. The South of Haven by Priest.
Well, that may be my fault too. Rocket Launcher, Double Goozle, Vegematic.
The NXT North American Champion gave Grimes the Reckoning for getting another name for these moves. As Priest celebrated, Johnny Gargano struck him with a steel chair from behind. William Regal announced that both Gargano and Candice LeRae would get title opportunities, but Shotzi Blackheart announced both match types would be determined. Oh my God, how did I miss this? With Spin the Wheel, Make a Deal.
Oh, good Lord.
They're bringing that back. I was there. I was at that pay-per-view in 92 in Philadelphia, the worst pay-per-view ever.
It is. How does Shotzi Blackheart start making matches here?
She's in the
Regal's
commercials.
Assistant now?
She's a scary character. It's Halloween. She was in the Halloween Havoc commercials.
She's a scary character, all right. All right, so a bunch of shit happened to cloud the entire issue. All right. That was the end of NXT.
The Archer of Infamy. What the hell is that? Is that because he pretends to shoot a bow and arrow at the screen before?
Yeah, it must be what that. And it's another thing. Outlaw guys, everybody's got to have a nickname.
I'm glad they're getting archery involved with professional wrestling. I mean, I know you were a talented archer.
I was a talented archer when I went to summer camp when I was a young man. I got a certificate that said that I was a master archer, and I got a couple of ribbons and a patch